They're definitely on the flight path into Luton. They've been going over every 5 or 6 minutes ever since I've been here actually. I don't know if I mentioned the farmer came down, really nice guy, told me it's going to be even hotter tomorrow. It's getting up to 30 something apparently, so phew, we'll see. Anyway, I'll say good night, see you on day 5. But it's coming up to 9 AM actually, and I'm at the Riverside campsite next to the River Stour. This area is just famous and synonymous with John Constable. Today's been really hot again. I tried to have an easier day, which is why I haven't done much filming. I just wanted to do a church crawling day, so I had a Greg's breakfast and then some fruit in Saffron Walden Market Square. That was really nice actually at market day. Then I just stopped at whichever churches I passed and fancied, and there was one church where the lady turned up just as I was about to pull away because it was locked. She said, "Oh, I'll show you and let you in." Her husband was there with her. She told me the tomb is in there of the person who discovered blood circulation, so that was really interesting. The other one had that lovely little parish room in the churchyard, which is now a book barn, a book exchange. That was just really, really nice. I loved that. And I stopped at a couple of others this afternoon. I was able to charge devices up, so I was happy to stay there for an hour or 2 hours at a time. So I'll say good night now, and I'll see you in the morning, and we'll be back to Thankful Villages. See you in the morning on day 6. Hello, good morning. It's just gone 5 AM on Wednesday, day 6 of my Thankful Villages cycle tour. See, it looks like it's going to be another nice day. The sun's risen. That's the River Stour down there. And all those tables, if you can see them, that's a pub garden. That's heaving last night. Big group of lads in here last night playing with a cricket bat and balls, and just looked like they're having a good time. I did quite a bit of washing last night. And there's my tent facing the sun. Start trying to get the washing facing over there in a minute actually to get it dry. From straight out of here we take a minor road up and we get to, I think it's called Sudbury, and then just north of Sudbury we're back on the course, and then I think it's about 20 miles to Culpho. So we're going to skirt around the edge of Ipswich, and then just north of Ipswich, that's where Culpho is. And then the final Thankful Village is at the end of the track on part 2. I'm not sure whether I'm going to aim for that tonight. I was looking on the picnic table last night, and there's a campsite that I got my eye on about a few miles short. So I may visit one Thankful Village today, camp short of the second one, and finish the Thankful Villages part of the ride tomorrow before we head over to the coast. We'll see what happens anyway. First things first, some hot water on for coffee. Think about packing and hopefully be gone by about 7:30, something like that. Try and ride as much before it gets too hot, because yesterday around about lunchtime, 1 o'clock, it's so hot. That's why I was sitting in churches for hours. Okay, I'm in the busy market town of Sudbury. Find myself a Greg's. There's a Lloyd's Bank over there, and that west, nationwide, so plenty of options for cash points, so I'll top up my cash. And I'm having a bacon sandwich and some fruit to go with it, and a soft drink. This is how I've been navigating on the Croft route. So I'm there, and I'm kind of making my way up there, but I've got a pretty below average working memory. I just cannot remember place names, so I just do screen grabs. That gives you a rough idea, so I can just keep referring to my photos, and then I can wipe them later on rather than having to keep getting up the maps. So I'm heading through Chiltern, Great Wardingfield, and then that's a more detailed route out of town, up past the town hall, East Street, and that takes me in the right direction. So you see what I mean about it would be good to have that clamp on the stem on the handlebars to be able to navigate with Google Maps actually. But at the moment this is what I'm doing. So a few miles and I'll be up on the course there. 212 miles, and I think Culpho is 222, so you can see I'm going to be getting there mid-morning. It's not even 8 AM yet. So within 6.14 miles, can you see the black line is what I've done, and the cursor is where I am, and then that grey line is the proposed route. So can you see I'm coming up? I'm going to join it and do a right hand turn that way. For these short diversions, if I'm going to start using campsites, I'm going to have to navigate on my phone actually. As I said, I've got probably a below average working memory. I think of it like a blackboard, but not a very good one. It's where you sort of store temporary information and then dispose of it. I just cannot remember lots of place names, which is why I tend not to ask for too many directions, because people mean well, but quite often they just baffle me with too much information. I try and figure it out myself. You've seen what I've been doing by looking at the map, taking screen grabs, and then just embedding arrows on, so when I do need to stop I can identify the place name straight away. This is Lavenham, by the way, so I knew I was heading for that, but I needed to remind myself a couple of times. Just as I was hoping, we've turned right, back on course, and we're now on some really nice quiet Suffolk lanes. Sudbury was actually quite good because I got a Greg's breakfast there, I got my lunch, I stopped at a convenience store and got tea for tonight, and I got a cash point, so I've got plenty of cash for me for campsites. Since I've got back on my proposed route, my GPS track, it's been absolutely fantastic. Just lovely Suffolk countryside, agricultural, lots of poppies in the field. This is fantastic along here, I'm really enjoying this. This is like a lot of yesterday was. I chose not to film it too much, I just wanted it as a kind of me day really. Really nice waking up this morning. Again, before 4 o'clock, the dawn chorus woke me up. I was up making coffee by 5. I was on the road by 7, I think, shortly afterwards. That made me jump. A couple of workmen there just fired up a chainsaw. That really made me jump. It's just really, really nice. You can see there's a nice little bit of tree canopy shade as well, and a bit of a breeze. Cycle touring doesn't get much better than this. It's fairly flat round here. Just get these little minor undulations every now and again. Your momentum gets you up most of them. Drop down and you get pushed up most of the other side. See a bird song everywhere. Because I didn't film much yesterday, I'm trying to make up for it today. Just look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. I just passed my first 2 cycle tourists going the other way actually. They gave me a nice wave and a smile. Something nice about seeing other cycle tourists all laden up. As I said, this is signposted as South Suffolk Cycle Route A. This is really, really nice. A lot of yesterday was like this. The minute I got into Suffolk, you can really see why people like John Constable, or down in Dorset, Thomas Hardy, people who were inspired, people who loved and were inspired by their environment and could express it in their various ways. You can just see why, can't you? I can't begin to do this justice. All I could do is point my camera at it and just tell you how much I'm loving this. Bird song everywhere. Talking of Thomas Hardy actually having a connection to his environment, I didn't realise until I visited Max Gate, the house he built for himself on the outskirts of Dorchester. He actually had a bike room he designed because he was a trained architect before he became a famous writer, and he built a bike room in there because he was a keen cyclist. And I also read somewhere, I can't remember the source, but if I do I'll put it in the description below, he was a keen cyclotourist and he actually fell off and hurt himself in between Bath and Bristol, so that's how far he came up. He became friends with T.E. Lawrence because he lived nearby, and Lawrence of Arabia, and Lawrence was a cyclist as well as being a motorcyclist. So they told us on the tour either at his birthplace or Maxgate house he built, I can't remember which. I've visited them both, well worth a visit. That when he died, he was so famous in his day, his pallbearers included the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition of the day. Can you imagine that these days? I'm absolutely loving this, just this lovely rolling agricultural landscape. It's why I like coming over to the east so much. There's so many place names there I just don't recognise. Obviously Ipswich at the bottom on the right hand side I do, but you got Elmset, Watfield, Oldham, Hadley, Birstall, Hintlesham. Saw some great names yesterday. I think it's because I used to be a postman and you had to have a really good working knowledge of the local area. So, and also with my cycling interest, I just know all the local villages. I just do, it comes naturally to me easy. So I think it's kind of novelty seeking really, and also feeling like I'm away from work on holiday. I just love seeing signposts, but I don't recognise one name. Just having a breathe at the top of Churchill, right outside Birstall Church. Thought I'd have a check my progress because, to be honest, I've just been letting my mind wander around there. So Birstall, I've seen, is 225 miles into my route, and Culpho is 233. So what's that? 5 and 3. That's 8 miles. See, well, as you can see, I'm passing into the boundary of Ipswich. We really are on the very outskirts, skirting round. Once we get past it, a few miles north eastish, I think, is going to be Culpho lunch stop, Thankful Village. Well, it's 11:16 and I've skirted my way around Ipswich. To start with, it was just housing estates, quite quiet roads, then through some industrial estates, underneath the main road, underneath the railway. Then all of a sudden my heart sunk a little bit. It was just green signs everywhere, A roads pointing towards the town centre. Then very next, traffic lights, turned left and came out of town. And here we are, Culpho, 11:16. So this will be the 5th of the 6 Thankful Villages. Without looking at Google Maps, I'm just going to go and see if I can find the church or look for the obvious location, a village green, that sort of thing. If I struggle to find it, I'll do what I did the other day, just get Google Maps up and see if that can help me. Soon after I spoke to you, within a couple of 100 yards, came along, saw a church tower. I thought that's probably what I'm looking for, and it's St Boltoff at Culpho. And then I saw that, the Boundary 500 badge. That's similar to what I'm doing with the poppies. They seem to be leaving their stickers. And look at this wonderful bit of wood workmanship on the gate. Seat there for lunch. And the church is open. It's got an outer gate, keep the birds out, and me. And what a wonderful place. Look at this. Lime mortared walls, lots of cracks, and that's what I'm looking for. The Culpho, should I say, Culpho, I think that's how you pronounce it. Slate plaque, Culpho, 1914 to 2014, a Thankful Village, marking the centenary of the outbreak of the First World War. There's a visitor's book which I'll sign. There's a little booklet there which I'm going to take outside and read with my reading glasses. There's electric plug sockets there. So everything I need, bar some water. I do need to get a tap before long. I had a quick look outside, I couldn't see anything. Oh, there's bottled water there, and may take a bottle of water and leave a donation for that. But look at this. I'm seeing this a lot in the churches. You get like the pebble dash mixed with brick. I noticed on the, that must be it there. I noticed because I went round the outside, I did an orbit to see if there was a tap. and I thought, oh, there used to be a north door, possibly a north porch, which has been sealed. It's stone on the outside but brick on the inside. Again, gives you an idea of the timeline. That lovely feathering where the stonework goes into the brickwork. As I said, I've been seeing that a lot. Wow, that is really nice. Seems to shrink a little bit from the other side as you go into the chancel, up the stairs to the tiled floor. Is that a piscina over there? Where they poured the water or the wine down after communion. When was the last person to visit? The 11th, and today is the 18th, I believe. I'll need to check that. I've just had to check the date. It's the 18th. So I've put Andy C, Bath Sunset, the Poppy Man visiting thankful villagers and leaving a knitted poppy at each in remembrance. And here's the plaque, the slate plaque. These are lovely, aren't they? They really, really are nice. Some of the outside ones I've seen are now starting to weather and fade, and one of them had a big split down it. Whether that was just through being out in the elements or somebody had kicked it, I just don't know, but that was a bit sad to see. But this is almost in pristine condition. It feels so nice. It must have cost them a lot of money to have all these made up and engraved. And there is my red knitted poppy at Culpho, 1914 to 2014, a thankful village. Just loop. I'm going to top my water bottles up with that and leave a donation. Just before I have my lunch, I just noticed it's a bit of an unusual design. You've got the nave and the chancel, but the porch is actually the bell tower as well, so it's got a south-facing porch bell tower. Okay, time for lunch, and then we'll leave a £5 here actually as a donation, because I've opened a big bottle of their water, topping mine up. I'll have a big drink of it before I go, and then return what I don't use. Plus the fact I'm going to get one of their booklets and read it over lunch, but I can't really take it with me. And also I'm charging my devices, so I feel I've taken a lot from here, so I'll give a £5. I'll put a £5 in. That way I'm giving something back and not just taking. St. Boltoff, Culpho. Time for lunch. So 2 nights so far I've camped right next to a pub, and I haven't fancied going down there at all, or even buying alcohol. It's just been so hot, I don't want to risk dehydration. I'm getting quite thirsty as it is anyway. I've actually found making up orange squash at the end of the day was really nice, but my orange squash has run out, and now I'm on this mini apple and black currant. But you have to use a lot more of this to get it drinkable really and make it thirst quenching. The orange would take a couple of squirts, this takes about 4 or 5. So it's not going to last as long. If you don't put enough in, it just looks like dental mouthwash and tastes a bit like it as well actually. So I think I'm going to get through this one quickly. If I see a co-op, I think that's where I get them. I'll pop in and see if I can pick up another couple of oranges. That has been better than alcohol in this trip, it really has. At the end of the long day, when I'm sat having my meal, it's so nice to have orange squash, or tonight it's going to be apple and blackcurrant. Okay, I'll sort of tell you my plans. We're at Culpho here, 167.5 miles, and there's a campsite I was looking at last night, begins with F, there we are, Framlingham, at say 180 probably by the time I find it. So I think that's what I may aim for. And there's the end of the route, St Michael, South Elmham. I think I may leave that for tomorrow. I'm going to sit out on the seat and think about that actually. I just really fancy staying here for a long time actually, just really savouring the moment. having a sort of shorter day, a bit like I did yesterday. And then that would mean finishing the Thankful Villagers section. That would mean finishing the Thankful Villagers part of this ride tomorrow, Thursday, and that would give me Friday, Saturday and Sunday just to head over to the coast, make my way up to Great Yarmouth. So I think I am going to have an easy day and go for Framlingham campsite. Now I've had lunch, I'm having a wander around the churchyard, and this is an old church and you can see it's showing signs of wear and tear. Been a bit of remedial stonework done there, the edging of the bell tower, but this has caught my eye, that discolouring there above the gravel trench. There's some sort of damp coming up. Look at the cracks in the wall, pretty significant crack there as well that's been filled. Oh gosh, cracks along there. I noticed this actually, I wonder if that used to be a sundial. Seems to be loads of lines going off at angles, and then round this side that is a bad bit of cracking, isn't it? Sometimes fine. I saw a vestry recently somewhere where you could see it's literally pulling away from the church. In fact, they've boarded all the windows up. I imagine it's locked and it's unsafe, but that was where the water was coming down, and it just probably off the hills, and it probably just never fully drained. Of course, they didn't build churches on reinforced concrete foundations in those days, so I expect this is gradually sinking and pulling itself apart. But yeah, you can see it's had some reinforcing work done, and even that's being ripped out, isn't it? Yeah, look. Blimey. This is going to need some serious money spent on it before long. So I'm seeing lots of cyclists. There's one just went by. I just passed 4 going that way in the opposite direction. It's because we're on Suffolk coastal route number 1. That's the thing when I plan routes on Ride with GPS, especially in areas that I don't know. I just let the computer work out where it's taking me. I know where I'm starting, I know where I want to finish, and maybe there's a few little points of interest along the way I drag and drop the route to, and then I just let the computer do the rest of it. And it's using algorithms, isn't it? It's using previous rides, and it's just picking up the most popular routes. Earlier on I was going along just in a wood in my own, really, just glancing down at the Garmin every now and again. All of a sudden I got that alarm for going off course. It's like a little purr, it's like a brrr, just lets you know that you've gone wrong. And I looked down and I thought, there's a right hand turn. There's no right hand turn there. When I turned around to go back, there was just a little gap, like a footway in between some houses. It just took me down, cut off a big corner, and then I got onto one of these quiet lanes. It's just so nice around here. I'm really, really enjoying it. Just looking at the signpost, so you can see it's the Suffolk coastal route. We'll have to research that and see where it starts and finishes. But I was just looking at the circle at the top. It says who, so that must be like the local district. I don't know. I was going to camp at Framlingham tonight. It's when I stopped for that long lunch at Culpho Church. I did the usual. I let the camping app just locate where I was, that pinged it to search for local campsites, and that was one of the ones that came up. I thought, great, it's actually en route, don't have to detour. But then I thought, when I read up about it, it's quite limited, and it says members only, so I could get there and there won't be room, and they maybe won't welcome me if it's members only. So I'm going to press on to another one a few miles on. That's typical of me, I cannot remember the name of it, but I've done all the screen grabs on my phone, so as I start getting a little bit closer, I can then just quickly refer to the screen grabs and find out where it is, what it's called, etc. I think it's called Croft camping. It sounds really, really nice actually. It's called the Croft campsite. Tents, showers, everything. No caps. And again, a very, very pleasant scenic route up over agricultural land. Just turn right onto Halesworth Lane, and here we are, look, the Croft campsite, 50 metres. That's the first one I've seen actually signposted, advertising leading up to it. So that just feels welcoming. Let's just hope we can get in. It's only 4:20, so if we can't, I've got options. And look at that, 9.3 to the end of this part 2. That will be our final thankful village tomorrow morning. St Michael at St Elmham, I think that's how you pronounce it. Pulled into like a gravelly car park. As I said, there was a sign outside that looked very welcoming. It said please book in at reception, told you what you had to do. Went into like a little lean-to, pressed the buzzer for attention. Lovely lady came out, ever so friendly, checked me in, told me where everything was, pretty much sort of said I can have the run of the place. There's one camper van and there's somebody else camping on the far side. There's about 4 fields here. Choose wherever you want to go, showers, toilets, everything. Just ever so nice. Wanted to know where I'd come from, and sort of said her sister lives in Bristol, so she knew where Bath was, because sometimes when I say Bath, people aren't sure where it is, you know, the further away you get. As you can see, I've got stuff drying. Most of it was dry at lunchtime at that church. I'm just finishing it off. So the towel I've been drying every day, tea towel. Just I'm wearing these thin tops. I don't dress up like a Tour de France rider. I'm not a Tour de France rider. Why would I want to dress up like one? I just wear these thin, very lightweight t-shirts, high visibility. I'll get them from Mountain Wearers, I think, £10 each. Do invest in quite good cycling shorts. Enduro, I think they're called. Just cheap ankle socks. They're almost like fishnet tights actually. They're so ventilated actually. And I did wash some casual clothes last night because they were starting to feel a bit damp and sweaty, so underpants and a shirt, just giving me tent a really good air out. And then I think I'll put my tent up about there. I do fancy a little bit of shade, but if I put the tent there I can sit in the shade until it cools down a little bit. It's 8 o'clock now on Wednesday. I just spent a nice pleasant hour just lying there as the sun goes down behind the trees. Just put my long sleeve fleece on just to take a little bit of the coolness off of me. I'm going to go and lie back there actually until the sun goes right down. Then I think I won't be long before I go to bed. I can feel myself yawning already. It was so hot when I got here. I actually washed some more clothes and they're almost dry already. They'll definitely get dry tomorrow, but they're almost dry this evening. That's how hot it still was. As well as offering me tea, squash or coffee, which had to decline to be honest, because I don't drink tea, and coffee after midday is just, I just never drink it. Very, very rarely do I have coffee after midday, so I had to decline that. But she said if you want any phones, power packs, anything like that, charging devices, just bring them over. And I thought, yeah, maybe I will actually. And then I checked actually, and everything's pretty much charged from lunchtime at Culpho church actually, so there's no need really. So I'm just gonna lie down there really on that sleep mat and my pillow just until it's too cool to stay out here any longer, and then I'll probably be in bed by about 9 o'clock. I can feel myself drifting off already. The plan tomorrow is it's about less than 10 miles to the final village, St Michael South Elmham I think it's called. That'll be the 6th and the final thankful village on this trip. It's less than 10 miles away and I'm only slightly off the route, so I should get on that first thing in the morning. Go there, take my time, enjoy it, and then I'm heading slightly southeastish down to the coast at Southwold, and I just really want to have a good look round there. I passed through it a few years ago on my pillbox tour of East Anglia, and I felt then I didn't have enough time to really appreciate it, so I want to go and spend the afternoon down there, get some ice cream, even some fish and chips maybe, I don't know. And then I've just noticed there's a campsite about 6 miles north of it, so I think that's the plan for tomorrow. Anyway, for the time being, I'll say good night from day 6 of the Thankful Villages tour. The Thankful Villages part will finish tomorrow, and then it's beach and ice cream time all the way up to Great Yarmouth. Anyway, good night, see you tomorrow, day 7.